It's 12. We will get started in just a few moments, just a little sound check. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Thank you all for joining. Good afternoon, everyone. The time now is 1:02, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining us today. This is our monthly Early Childhood Provider Update. I'm Jenna Chaslin from the Department of Education. Thank you all for joining us for our February call. We're happy to see you all here. We'll quickly run through our agenda for today. And today we have some updates around our CCAP program that I'm excited to tell you all about. We also are announcing some news on our ARPA stabilization grant. We have some licensing updates as well. We also have a special speaker today on child care criminal background check updates, Mr. Hayden Malasa, who leads that unit for us here at the department. We have a few teaching and learning updates, and we will round out our time together today by hearing from the 2022-2023 Early Childhood Teacher and Leader of the Year, Annie Richardson and Rochelle Wilcox. So thrilled to have those two early childhood advocates and leaders and experts on the call today to share some words of inspiration and encouragement around the work that you all do each and every day. So we will start with some CCAP updates. And I know many of you know that our team has been very hard at work. That CCAP team has really been leaning in and doing a ton of work. So in order to maximize the benefits of CCAP for the families of our state, we did apply that wait list on October 1st of 2022. So just reminding you all of that wait list that exists now. This wait list will ensure that our families have access to CCAP on a first come, first served basis. And those families will receive benefits as soon as that funding is available. Families are placed on the wait list if they submit a complete CCAP application with all documentation and they are determined eligible. Families will then remain on that wait list for up to 1 year before having to reapply for assistance. But just a special note here that we do have some groups of children who are always eligible if they are experiencing homelessness, children of families participating in TANF or STEP, or early Head Start child care partnerships, children in foster care, and eligible children with disabilities are all not placed on the wait list. Providers will not receive any reimbursement from the department while families are on the wait list because you won't currently be serving those children. They won't be part of the program. The department has published a frequently asked questions document regarding the wait list, providing key insight on any questions you all may have. So I welcome you to go to that FAQ document that we have. Also, as usual, y'all, if you have any questions throughout today's webinar, feel free to enter them in the chat for today, and we'll answer those live at the end of today's call as best as we can. Or if it's an individual question, you may get an individual response from someone on our team. So just a few more notes, just a few things about underutilization. So our CCAP team is conducting monthly reviews of underutilized authorizations. This is really important because we have a limited amount of CCAP funds. We need to make sure that folks are attending, that those children are attending so that we can really make the most out of the funding that is available, considering that we now have a wait list especially. So if a participant has not checked their children in or out using the tracking of time services or interactive voice response portal during the previous month, their case may be closed. The participant will only receive one written notice mailed to the address on file. If the same participating household appears on the underutilized report again, they will lose CCAP services and will need to reapply. Because we now have a wait list, the new application is not guaranteed to receive immediate certification. So they would be placed on the wait list if they underutilize and lose services. To ensure this does not happen to families at your site, please ensure that all families check children in and out daily using the TOTS or IVR portal. We will also review KinderConnect for those providers who have recently transitioned to the new system, and we'll have a few slides about KinderConnect later on in today's webinar. Oh, and here it is, KinderConnect. We will be fully transitioning from TOTS to the KinderConnect attendance tracking system by March 30th of this year. We are hosting pilot providers in this system now and will begin general distribution of tablets for the use of this new system to all providers by February. In order to connect with this new attendance tracking system and receive a tablet to initiate the system, please ensure that all of the following steps are completed that are here on this slide. Register the site in the EdLink system, register your site leaders to become the EdLink entities manager for the site, and complete the KinderConnect registration that's linked here. Once registered as an entity manager in EdLink, instructions will also be sent to all entity managers. And a little more here on KinderConnect. If you need detailed guidance and screenshots for how to register in EdLink and for access to other resources, you can visit our EdLink support page that's linked here. Additionally, we are offering multiple EdLink trainings in which providers will be provided with instructions for accessing and navigating the system. Maximum registration for this weekly training is 99 participants, and the last 30 minutes of each meeting will be open for questions if time is permitting. To attend any of these weekly trainings, please complete the registration linked here. I really want to encourage you all, complete this registration, attend one of those EdLink trainings so you all can really feel confident and comfortable with the new KinderConnect system. All sites must begin the use of the new KinderConnect attendance tracking system no later than March 15th of this year. So that is coming up, y'all. Note that beginning in April, your quarterly bonus payments will be paid on attendance tracked by this system and will no longer be paid on enrollment. So it's very, very important that you all convert to the new KinderConnect system. Go ahead and register for that training that's on the previous slide so that you are able and know how to use that system. Once the tablet for KinderConnect has been received and attendance has been transitioned from TOTS, please mail the TOTS device back to Conduent. A self-addressed mailer will be provided by calling the number here on this slide. Also wanted to talk today a little bit about new family copay amounts. We have released a new sliding fee scale for families served by CCAP. The sliding fee scale for copayments of families served by the CCAP program is updated yearly on February 1st. This is to reflect changes to the updated state median income, or SMI, which is what we use. The new sliding fee scale has been updated and is available on our website, and it is linked here on this slide. Also wanted to update you all on DCFS rates. Providers who may be experiencing difficulty with receiving the correct payment for children in foster care, we know that this has been a problem for some people. You can contact dcfs.daycare@la.gov and CCAP Child Welfare at la.gov if you need any help with receiving the correct payment for those children that you are serving in foster care. Please include your provider name, your provider number, the child's name, and the case identification number with all of your payment inquiries. This will just make sure that your questions are answered more quickly and more smoothly because we'll be able to pull that information about you. As a reminder, payment discrepancies should be reported within 30 days of the missing or incorrect payment. So please utilize those emails here on this slide if you need help with receiving the correct payment for the children you are serving in foster care. And we appreciate y'all doing that work and serving those children in foster care. It's so important. All right, we have some ARPA stabilization grant updates. So ARPA, the third round of stimulus funding, provided our state with approximately $475 million in child care stabilization fund. The department will be distributing an additional round 3 of those ARPA stabilization grants. We've done 2 of these rounds already. And so today we're happy to announce some information about round 3. The Child Care Stabilization Fund is intended to provide direct financial support to all qualified child care providers. This includes type 1, 2, and 3 licensed early learning centers, as well as CCAP certified in-home and our family child care providers. We do have to follow the federal requirements of the ARP Act to be qualified for ARPA stabilization grants. Child care providers must meet the following eligibility criteria that are here in this slide, so important. The provider meets CCDF requirements, including those around health and safety. The provider is licensed or CCAP certified, and the provider is open and providing child care services. To be eligible for round 3 of the ARPA stabilization grant, providers must be open, licensed or registered, CCAP certified, serving children by December 31st of 2022, and compliant with all audit surveys and assessments from Postal Wait and Netterville. So those are those audit surveys and assessments from the last rounds of grants that you all have already received. You have to be current and compliant with all of that auditing. If a provider owes funds for prior CCAP overpayments and has not entered into a repayment agreement, these funds will be deducted from the grant disbursement funds and may delay receipt of payment. A separate ARPA stabilization grant opportunity will be provided in the near future for Head Start sites that offer before and after care services to CCAP children. And then I know what many of you all are waiting for is a timeline for when this all will take place. So on February 16th, we will host a brief but informational webinar around ARPA stabilization grant round 3. So mark your calendars for that webinar. Link is here on the slide. On February 20th, the ARPA stabilization grant round 3 application will release. And we will host office hours to answer any questions, providing additional information or support that people need on both February 28th from 10 to 11 and March 7th from 10 to 11. On March 13th, that application. So please make note that the application opens on February 20th and does close on March 13th. There will be strict adherence to those grant application deadlines. We have a lot of federal requirements that we are following here, and we really need to be tight with those grant application deadlines. So please mark your calendars now. As soon as that application opens, go in and get it completed to make sure you're on time. If you need any help with completing your ARPA stabilization grant round 3 application, we ask you to please contact the provider help desk at the numbers here on your screen or via the provider ticket system. And so here is a timeline for payments of what you all can expect moving forward after you submit your application. So we'll close that application period on March 13th. And then funds will be released according to this schedule. The week of April 10th through the 14th, we will release to that first group there on your screen. Week of April 17th through 21st, we'll release to the second group. And the week of April 24th through the 28th, a third group, with the final payments released the week of May 15th through the 19th to our type 1 and 2 providers. So you see how we have our type 3 providers and our CCAP certified in-home and family child care providers separated into 3 waves. And then that final wave will be our type 1 and 2 providers. So you can identify which one you will fall in and then anticipate your grant payment during that period. All right, we have a few licensing updates today. So we wanted to announce to you all the reinstatement of licensure fees. Effective of March 1st, 2023, licensure fees will be requested upon submission of an application for early learning centers. Fees will be requested as follows: a $25 fee for each application for an initial license. Note, this fee will be applied toward the total license fee, which is due prior to the issuance of an initial license, if applicable. The annual license fees for each early learning center based on the licensed capacity of the center. And you all can see section 313 of Bulletin 137 for the fee scale. A $25 fee for any change that requires the issuance of a new license or the reissuance of a current license outside of the regular renewal of the license. For example, changes in capacity, name, age range, and transportation. And an annual licensure fees will not be requested for type 1 centers owned or operated by churches or religious organizations. Also, wanted to give you some updates on renewal applications. Each center must submit an application for renewal using EdLink. Renewal applications should be submitted prior to the first day of the month in which the current license expires. If all required documentation is not received by the last day of the month in which the license expires and it will not be renewed. If a license expires, the Early Learning Center shall cease operation by close of business on the expiration date stated on the license. An application for a new license will be required if the owner desires to resume operations at the center. So we absolutely know that you all do not want this to happen. So please pay attention and stay on top of your renewals. If you all need any help with EdLink, our EdLink office hours are held on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1:30 to 2:30. So every Tuesday and Thursday, if you need help with EdLink, hop on this Zoom that's on your screen. And the folks on the other side from the department would be happy to help you with EdLink. So please do not let that frustrate you or stand in your way of your licensing renewal. So get that done and hop on our EdLink office hours if you need assistance. Also wanted to just update you all on our application processing timeframes currently. In an effort to ensure that all of our applications and change requests are completed in time for services to be provided to children, please anticipate these processing timeframes. This is where we're at licensing. Application for licensure or change of location can take up to 90 days. An application for change of ownership can take up to 30 days. And for that, please contact your licensing consultant. And all other change requests up to 30 days. Please note if all of your required documentation is not submitted, that does cause additional delays. So please make sure you're asking questions and paying attention to what's required so that we can just be as timely as possible. Another update about behavior management. Providers shall develop, implement, and have staff follow a written behavior management plan. The policy shall prohibit children from being subjected to any of the following things on this screen. So I wanted to remind you all of that behavior management plan that you should all have written and implemented, and your staff should be aware of and familiar with. Each center has been assigned a licensing consultant. So once again, you can find your licensing consultant here on this slide. They are happy to help you. You'll find your licensing consultant by the first letter of your center's name, excluding a, an, or the. If you have any questions about Bulletin 137 or any of your licensing needs, feel free to contact your consultant. I know they're happy to help. Okay, and we have some child care criminal background updates today. And I believe Mr. Hayden Melanson is hopping on to give us some of these updates.
Yes, ma'am, sure thing. So we have a review of the renewal process that not everyone, but that those who were around in 2018 during the beginning of this program, you should all be coming up for renewal. So we want to show the steps necessary to have those renewals. The first one is the provider whose roster lists the staff member needing the renewal, and the applicant will receive an email stating that the applicant has 90 days to complete the renewal process. So both the person needing the background check and the child care center they work for will both be getting an email to initiate the renewal. It is essential that directors be sure that site rosters are up to date, because the providers who will receive the notification that the staff member has 90 days to complete the renewal process is the provider currently listed in the CCCBC site. So if your roster isn't up to date, then you will not be made aware that that applicant could possibly be coming up for a renewal. If you are if you've already received an email for March, April, or May, if you're in this 90-day time frame, please initiate it as soon as possible. We don't want anyone to have a lapsed time. So we want everyone who possibly can to get this done, and anything that needs to be fixed, we'll have time to fix it. We don't want to hug it close to 15 or 20 days. We need to get that done as quickly as possible. Next slide, please. Thank you. So upon receiving that email, there will be an option in the email to initiate the renewal process. The provider will be able to begin the renewal process after pressing the link that states renewal. This will be on your home screen, on your roster, on the CBC portal. From that point, the provider will be asked to fill out mandatory fields and upload the forms as if they were completing the process for a new applicant. You'll know that it's not because some of the fields will already be populated. Stuff like social security number, address, name, those things will already be populated. So you'll know that you are in the renewal process. And please update any new information: married name, address, driver's license number, or driver's license expiration date. All of those things will cause the process to be delayed, and we will have to reject it back to you for corrections. So please have that updated the first go around. So we're going to go into the specific steps of the renewal process, and I want to update exactly what the renewal process is doing. So we're federally mandated every 5 years to recheck background clearances for the purposes of early child care. Clearances from the 5 separate entities are federally mandated. Those are the FBI, state police, DCFS, state and federal sex offender registries, and out-of-state clearances for those who have lived out of state. Okay, and we're going to talk about a little bit about the DB-Sysgraph and IDEMIA. DB-Sysgraph is the third-party vendor that created and runs the software for the CBC portal, and IDEMIA is going to be our new fingerprint vendor. We have formerly used Gemalto. So this is an email that the provider is going to get at 90 days and then 30 days for anyone on your roster that is up for that 5-year renewal. You can see the link here is the click here to go to LDOE Child Care Civil Background Check System. When you click that, it's going to show you the applicant that is within 90 days that needs to initiate their background process. Please, the email will be coming from this email address. Do not reply LDOE-CBC@la.gov. So if you don't see it and it's within 90 days, please check your junk folder in your email. So this step here is this is just the email that the applicant will be getting. So applicant, if you receive this email, you need to make your provider or your employer aware that you have received this email and assist in initiating that process. So providers, once you get that email for one of your applicants who is within 90 days of expiration, you click on that link, as I stated before, it will bring you to your home screen. And here where you see this red arrow, you have a renew button for an applicant. So once you press that renew button, next screen. Once you press that renew button, it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to apply for a renewal? Please press OK so we can start the process. So once you press OK, it's going to bring you to this screen. As you can see, some of these fields are already populated. It's not completely blank as if it were a new applicant. But please already have the consent that the applicant has to sign a new consent form and has to provide a new driver's license or ID. So please put any of that information, make sure it's up to date before you submit it. As I've stated, anyone who has gotten married, the old driver's license, if it has not expired, you'll have to resubmit it. And there has to be a new consent form with a new date on it in the attachments. So everyone's going to get a copy of this PowerPoint, and then you'll have this email here. I'm sorry, this link here the initial CCBC consent form, which is the one with the red check here. That's the consent form we need. The green one, the add existing applicant determination, if you have that one by accident and send it to us, we will have to reject it because we have to have this one with the red check. And you'll see that in your attachments in your CBC portal as well. So this is your attachments. This is a snapshot from the provider CBC portal where you would be entering a new applicant. This is just a third way to retrieve that form. And like I stated, be sure that it's the initial consent form. The following link is where DOE's current fingerprint locations are. LDOE is still currently using Gemalto sites. Please refer to this link, or if you go to Early Childhood on the Louisiana Believes website, you can see all of our current fingerprint locations. That this is completely up to date, and we should have no two parishes connecting without a fingerprint location. So I did want to state that Gemalto, the current fingerprint vendor, is no longer doing business in Louisiana. So we will be transitioning to a vendor named IDEMIA. There may be a time this spring in which current fingerprinting locations are temporarily changed or moved. The department is awaiting response from all current fingerprint locations as to which locations wish to continue to provide the service. The department anticipates that this change in vendor will result in more fingerprint locations available to child care providers across the state of Louisiana. I've conducted the survey myself, and the vast majority of fingerprint locations so far want to continue service, and IDEMIA already has several fingerprint locations. So I'm hoping that this will result, or I'm assuming this will result in actually more fingerprint locations than before.
Thank you, Hayden. I think that was a pretty exciting update. I know everyone is probably happy to hear that we may end up with additional fingerprint locations. That would be wonderful. I know everyone across the state has talked about that being a desire, so that would be awesome. So Hayden, thank you for hopping on today and for sharing all those important updates. Y'all, Hayden is available to answer any of those questions. So as things are coming in, if you need to direct something, if you have any questions about anything that he just went over, please type it in the chat. And if you all need any help or support from Hayden and his team, I know they're happy to do so. On our last slide today, as usual, I'll post all of our contacts, and our child care criminal background check unit is one of those that will be listed. So we have a few teaching and learning updates today. If we could go back a few slides. All right, great, thank you. So just a little update about our spring 2023 class observations. That period has begun for our early childhood classrooms at our publicly funded sites across the state. Community network lead agencies are currently working with sites to conduct those local spring class observations for this year. All early childhood classrooms are required to have a local spring observation. So a representative from your local community network lead agency will be reaching out to schedule that for your site. Also, a reminder that third-party observations will be scheduled and conducted by the P-Card Center. Third-party observations are designed to provide an additional level of review to ensure reliability. The month before the scheduled observation, the P-Card Center will send an email providing the site with a time frame in which the observations will occur. Please respond with any potential dates that the site is not available for observations. And if you have any questions about class observations, you can direct those to your community network lead agency. Next, an update on school readiness tax credits. Director and staff member tax forms were mailed from Louisiana Pathways beginning in January. We know that it is tax season, so everyone is looking out for that in the mail. The provider SRTC notices for 2022 that shows certificate of star rating and average number of children will be mailed by the department in March of 2023. For more information about school readiness tax credits, you can contact demita.walker@la.gov. And an update about TS Gold. Teaching Strategies Gold is used to measure a child's growth and development, and we need all of our teachers to finalize their winter gold checkpoint ratings by February 28th. My Teaching Strategies offers a variety of resources to support classrooms preparing for and completing their gold winter checkpoint. So there is a support webinar that covers the features and functionalities teachers use to complete the gold winter checkpoint in My Teaching Strategies. So you all can find those webinars on Tuesday, February 7th at 2 or Thursday, February 16th at 4. They also have the archived webinars that are available on demand in the Gold On Demand webinar library linked here on this slide. And you can read our updated TS Gold guidance and TS Gold FAQ documents for any helpful information. If y'all have any questions about TS Gold and that winter checkpoint, you can email ecassessment@la.gov. A little information next about child count guidance for program partners. As established in Bulletin 140, our community network lead agencies and early childhood sites must work together to submit a count of all publicly funded children twice each academic year. This happens on October 1st and February 1st. We have created a procedural document called Child Count Guidance for Program Partners. This guidance provides program partners with an understanding of the child count process, how to prepare for child count, and how to complete and submit the child count template to the lead agency. Providers should contact their community network lead agency with additional questions or for any support that you all may need when completing the February 1st child count. Okay, and the highlight of today's webinar, I am so happy to have on with us our early childhood teacher and our early childhood leader of the year. These individuals have been doing amazing work prior to these awards, but they have been doing an equally amazing job in representing you all over the course of the past several months since receiving their award. So we're so proud of them both. We couldn't be happier to have them really elevating and magnifying the voices of our early childhood teachers and leaders in our state. So they are here today to provide you with some words of inspiration because we're all just so grateful for the work that y'all do. And I believe Annie, if you're on, Annie Richardson, our early childhood teacher of the year from Caneview K-8 Head Start in West Baton Rouge Parish, will speak to you all first.
Hi, everyone. First, I want to say thank you for having me. Watching the beginning of this webinar just really highlights the amount of work that everybody does that we as teachers don't even see all the time. So I want to thank you all for everything that you are giving to your kids and your employees. You know, as early childhood educators, teachers, leaders, we are tasked with what I believe is one of or the most important job in education. You know, we completely set the groundwork for everything that is going to come in their school career and also in these children's lives. You know, when they make it to school, a lot of times they're strictly learning things. They're learning math and reading and science and so, you know, and all of those things. But we get the pleasure of teaching the whole child, the complete child. You know, we teach them how to walk and talk and communicate effectively. We teach them how to be good people and share and ask for different things. You know, they may or may not get some of those things at home. We get to potty train them. I mean, we really are truly forming people here. How awesome is that? You know, I think it's absolutely one of the most important jobs that anybody can do. And, you know, we're building little personalities and we're building little lives. And I just think that we really have a great opportunity and an amazing job that we get to do this and impact these children's lives in such a great way. You know, you think about the things that an early childhood educator or leader has to do on a daily basis. We are not just teaching. I mean, of course, we're going through those pre-literacy skills, those number concepts, all of that. But, you know, we are completely forming a whole person aside from that. And how great is that? You know, one thing that I feel very, very passionately about is the importance of social emotional learning in early childhood. You know, we need to teach these children how to self-regulate and identify their emotions and how to handle their emotions, what to do with their big feelings, you know. So I think that that's something that we're all really great at as well. So yeah, I mean, I just, you know, first of all, well, not first, but I really do think that it's important for everybody to know how important you are and impactful you are, and the great work that you're doing and that your staff is doing and that we're doing on the state level as well. You know, watching these kids grow from birth to, you know, at our school, it's 3-year-old olds on. It's just so great to come back and even years later, you know, see
All right, Annie, I believe you're freezing up a little. Having a little internet issues there at your school, but thank you for hopping on and sharing those words of inspiration. I know everyone was so happy to hear them and really benefited from hearing your voice, your teacher voice. It looks like you're back with us, Annie.
I'm sorry, did I get disconnected?
You were frozen for a while. But I think
I'm
you're back
so
with
sorry.
us now. I think we heard most of it though.
Yes, Anne, but she want to have a dinner party for her birthday.
Thank you, Annie. Thanks for being on with us.
Dinner party what?
And we will
Did I
next.
freeze again? I might have frozen.
Come have dinner with her.
I think you did. And if we can mute everyone again, and I think we are ready to hear from Rochelle Wilcox, who is currently serving as our inaugural Early Childhood Leader of the Year.
Hey, Jenna.
Another individual who's, hey, Devin.
Hey, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Rochelle actually wasn't able to make it at the very last minute with some really important work at her school. So we are sad that she won't be able to be here today. We will hopefully get her with you guys next time. But again, thank you, Annie, for being able to be with us today, and everybody on the call as well. So thanks so much, Jenna.
All right, thank you, Devin.
I have schoolwork to catch up on this weekend. I don't think I'm really doing something at night. My head is a mess. No, what about Mickey?
All right, so we will move into the rest of our webinar. Annie, thank you so much for being on with us today. We appreciate you coming to share those words of thanks and those words of inspiration and true passion for what you do. And we appreciate the work that you do every single day for our children. And I know we are disappointed that Rochelle couldn't make it, but we also understand she is a very busy lady in leadership. And so we will be happy to welcome her on to another upcoming webinar so you all can hear from her, because we certainly don't want to miss out. Hearing her speak is certainly a treat. So we do want to announce some upcoming events before we close out and head into questions. Save the date. We are so excited to ask you all to save the date for our Early Childhood Conference 2023, Foundations for Success. This will be June 2nd and 3rd in New Orleans. So please go ahead and save the date, mark your calendar. We will very soon be opening registration. February 3rd through March 9th will be early bird registration. Our presenter applications will open on February 10th and will close on March 3rd. Our Education Expo vendor applications will open on February 10th and close March 3rd. And our regular registration will open March 10th and close April 21st. Or when we sell out, just a reminder, last year we did sell out our tickets. We only have so much capacity at the convention center, and we just hope to see as many of you there as possible. We did sell out last year, so registration opens tomorrow. So please go ahead and register. If you have any questions about the conference that come up, you can email events@emergentmethod.com. You will be looped in with the most current and up-to-date information about the conference by our website and on social media. And just a reminder again about that very important informational webinar, our ARPA Stabilization Grant Round 3 webinar will be on Thursday, March 16th at 1 p.m. We will be happy at that time to provide more information and answer any questions about that grant application. Also announcing our monthly provider webinar for next month, Thursday, March 2nd at 1 p.m. And our contact info is on this very last slide. We do have some questions today that I would like to take an opportunity to answer. So one is a clarification about if there is centers that have the in the name, how are they categorized when it comes to the ARPA stabilization grant? Under T or the first letter of the second word. So to answer that, the ARPA stabilization grants will be distributed based on the first letter of each parish. So for that, it's by the letter of each parish. If you were asking about your licensing consultant and your center name, that excludes a, an, or the as the first word and starts at the beginning of that second word. Will ARPA 3 be around the same size as ARPA 1 and ARPA 2? No, just to let you all know, really the goal and the point of those federal stimulus funds was really during the height of the pandemic was to push out as much of that funding as possible, which means that round 1 and round 2 were larger grants. Round 3 of the ARPA stabilization grant is expected to be smaller. Now we are on the outskirts of the pandemic. The base and bonus rates will all be explained in the webinar held on February 16th. So if you're interested in learning more about ARPA round 3, please join that webinar on February 16th, but do anticipate that this third round will be smaller because that really was the intent of that stimulus funding, is that the majority, the bulk of it go out sooner during the pandemic. All right, another important question about CCAP. What about a sibling who was born and has an older brother or sister who's already on CCAP? Just to clarify, for CCAP, families are certified eligible. So if there's a new baby in the family, you can complete a CCAP 10 and the baby is added to the case. The new baby does not go on the wait list because that family has been determined to be eligible for CCAP. So CCAP is based on the family. Okay, we had another question. If you have a family that one child attends the center regularly, but the other siblings attend the center for holidays and summer, will the siblings be taken off of the portal from, not checking in during that time that they're not coming? The child only scanning part-time will be coded school-aged, holiday and summer. CCAP will only pay for that child on holidays and summer if a change report has been submitted reflecting that that child only needs holiday and summer care. So you all would need to submit a change report for those children who are only attending holiday and summer so that we can be sure in our system that they're marked as a CCAP holiday and summer care child. Okay, we have at this point responded to all applicants of applications prior to October. I feel like we need to cheer and clap when we say that. We are very excited that we have made our way through that backlog. The team has done tremendous work in lifting that amount of applications that I know you all came in, that really unprecedented amount of applications that we received for CCAP. So we have made our way through that backlog at this point. So we have responded to all applications prior to October. The family might have received information asking for additional documents, and all families at this point who applied prior to October should have received the status of their case. If you are thinking to yourself, well, that has not happened because maybe y'all missed someone, there's a family I know that I serve who has not heard and they applied prior to October, you all can email melinda.george@la.gov. And Melinda, you know, the leader of our CCAP team, will be happy to help you, because that would be a rare outlying case, because at this point we have responded to all those applications prior to October. All right, we had some questions about childcare criminal background check. Someone wanting to know the best way to reach out to that unit. That's here on this slide under childcare criminal background checks. We have 2 phone numbers for our CBC unit, and we have that email, ldechildcarecbc@la.gov, if y'all have some questions about childcare criminal background check. And we have someone asking, I'm trying to renew a criminal background check, but it's not letting me because I'm using the same email. How do I get past this? Do I have to make up a new email for this? And the answer there is a new email address is not needed to complete a CCCBC renewal application. If you're receiving an error message stating the email address is already in use, you must use a new email address. All right, another question. For parents that have a redetermination application due during the time of ownership switch, how should that parent fill out the application pertaining to TIPS provider number if that number has not been given to the new owners? The parent should contact the current provider number. They should use the current provider number. And once the change of ownership is complete, all CCAP families will receive a CCAP 10 to have their provider changed over to that new provider number. Okay, we have another question about criminal background checks. Will we have to do fingerprints again? Yes, this is what Hayden was talking about. Because this is considered our 5-year renewal for everyone, that means that everyone will have to have fingerprints completed again. Each employee due for their 5-year renewal will have to have fingerprints completed again. So each employee due for their 5-year renewal will have to have fingerprints completed again. All right. Let's see.
I asked the question.
About, do contractors, if you have a contractor, do they have to use the center or the place that they used 5 years ago, or can they do that at any center? A contractor's CCCBC renewal can be completed by any center that they are linked to. So if they're linked to more than one center, it can be anyone that they're linked to.
What about kids?
All right. So I am locked out of.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, well, Teresa, I think you were unable to say it. If you can enter it in the chat, we can go ahead and get it answered for you. All right. It says, I am locked out of my background check system. How do I get back in? If you are locked out, you do need to contact us. So you need to use one of the numbers, or you can email us at that email address for Child Care Criminal Background Check Unit.
What about kids that's out more than doing the enrollment?
Teresa, I'm having trouble making you out. If you can put it in the chat, we can get you an answer. All right. So once more, just wanted to let you all know we had a few questions come in about the ARPA webinar. That's going to take place Thursday, February 16th at 1 o'clock. Also, just a little clarification about Teacher Leader Summit and the Early Childhood Conference. They will still be two separate events, just like last year. There's a Teacher Leader Summit and an Early Childhood Conference. Teacher Leader Summit this year is happening right prior to the Early Childhood Conference. So Teacher Leader Summit is happening during that week. And then the Friday and Saturday will be the Early Childhood Conference. So if you all have attended Teacher Leader Summit in the past, you're interested in doing so again, we'll have more information in our upcoming Early Childhood newsletter about Teacher Leader Summit as well as the Early Childhood Conference. Okay. So with that, we will go ahead and close out today's webinar. You all have the contacts here on this slide. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to the appropriate unit that is listed here on this contact info. We thank you all for joining us this afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you all next month on our next webinar. Thank y'all.